everyone. I'm Keerthana Kandasamy and I'm studying at UCL. Today I will be talking about a subject which is very close to my heart, something that has impacted my family and friends back home. India's cash war, demonetization. So let's first look what has been going on. It has been nearly 2 months since the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, he declared the demonetization of the 500 and the 1000 rupee notes in India. What this essentially means is that overnight, 500 and 1000 rupee notes would no longer be counted as legal tender. All the notes had to be exchanged for the new notes printed by the government. And the effects of these are emerging very slowly, and the Indian economy is experiencing an historical moment. So the question arises, why was it done suddenly? Essentially, it was an effort to reduce government corruption, tax dodging, and terrorism. It targets tax evaders and thus in turn black money. The large amount of uncirculated money will hopefully be exposed after this ruling. In fact, there have been recent news about large amounts of money being seized by the government from numerous individuals across the country because of this ruling. And now we'll discuss the impact of this. The first and the foremost is the huge amount of money which is being deposited because of this move into banks. So banks now have a huge cash reserve, boosting their liquidity and their lending power. What this also does is that it leads to deflation of the currency value, which could potentially make some commodities like households and real estates more affordable to common men. Very importantly, this is a step towards a cashless economy, because now all the cash transactions will potentially be replaced by card transactions. Now, tax evaders will also be caught because this is one of the ways in which the government is able to track and notify those who do not pay taxes. Now, this also benefits the government because once they catch a large number of tax evaders, it's an increased revenue for the government. Shortage of cash is also a massive impact because of the large amount of money that is being withdrawn as opposed to the small amount being deposited. As well said by the Times of India, India's leading newspaper, around 5 crore worth of cash has been out of circulation, whereas only 1 crore is back into circulation, which leads to 4 crores worth of money shortage for the citizens. This has sparked widespread disruption because now citizens have large amounts of money which is useless to them. This is a dominoes effect. It leads to the payments being impacted, payments in factories, in supply chains, and essentially all the industries in India. Now, this shortage also leads to a slower growth of the economy. At present, India is having an excellent growth rate of 7%. But what is being estimated is that because of these moves, there might be it might fall down to around 6% or lower. And finally, one of the most important impacts is that this is a surgical strike against all the fake notes being circulated in the economy. As we all know, fake notes is the sourcing for terrorist groups and illegal organizations to take place. What the government believes is that this move will hamper these activities and hence the economy will be benefited as a whole. Something really interesting has been taking place. After the government introduced this demonetization, in a very short span, it introduced two new currencies, 2000 and 500 rupee notes. Now, this was done by the government to introduce new denominations to the masses, remove the old ones, and ensure that the impact of shortage and the impact that the citizens are facing every day is reduced. However, this has resulted in great fluctuations in the exchange rate over the past few months, but this is fortunately thought to be only a temporary effect. Despite the numerous benefits that we have spoken about, many citizens have been facing inconvenience. At the very basic level, even till today, we will see long queues outside banks, and this is prominent across the country. People are queuing to deposit their money and withdraw their new money. And because of the large population of India, this is taking forever. This has sparked widespread anger among citizens and it disrupts their routine lives. In fact, one of the majorly impacted sectors is the rural sector. The rural sector and the uneducated masses are not aware as to how this entire process will take place. And furthermore, they do not have access to banks as easily as what the citizens in cities do. So that is one of the majorly impacted citizens, and the government is doing its best by introducing and giving access to banks at every level and across the country, to the rural especially. Now, people who genuinely want to withdraw large amounts of cash, such as tourists, they are also being impacted because the government has reduced and has capped the withdrawing money to only 4,000 rupees per day. So essentially, this results in daily prominent struggles for every individual, rich or poor, and they're impacted by these drastic measures in all their activities around. However, it's an excellent move taken by the Indian government, a bold move by the government to tackle one of its most pressing issues for the past years, corruption. It's very optimistic to say that the issue of the black money will ever be solved. For now, the Indian government is doing its best by implementing these policies, which will definitely reduce the circulation. The issue at hand is that the vast amount of unaccounted for money is actually stored in overseas banks. So those who store their black money do so in overseas banks and hence evading the tax anyways. So what the Indian government is going to find a challenge is finding these individuals in the very first place. Regardless, these steps are a great move towards resolving such a large-scale issue. And in fact, the government has announced that there will be similar actions to curb this in the near future. For the time being, whoever is stacking up illegal money will be exposed, especially in India, and they will be obliged to pay the taxes. I think that a cashless economy is what the government is aiming to move towards in the future. Given that India is heavily dependent on cash as compared to other nations like China and the United Kingdom, the possibilities of storing unaccounted for cash has become very easy for the individuals. So the government right now is aiming to provide solutions to the rural sector especially to transform their payments to a cashless one. Now for the developed areas, it's an easy move because they already have access to internet banking, credit cards, and all other possibilities of cashless payments. Because this is an ongoing effect, the time will be hard to gauge. However, the policies are being planned out and rolled out right now. So the government is in fact every day a step closer to achieving its goal.